In October of 2022, Elon Musk acquired Twitter for $44 billion. At the time, he said his motivations were not economic in nature. He wanted to turn Twitter into a free speech platform, protected from political censorship. He changed the name of the company to X. Almost immediately after the acquisition, X's revenue imploded, obliging Musk to lay off 80% of the company's employees. As X's core social media business imploded, the estimated value of the company declined by almost 80%. Musk's acquisition of Twitter looked like one of the most disastrous events in business history, resulting in tens of billions of dollars in losses. About 1 month after Musk closed his Twitter acquisition, OpenAI launched ChatGPT, catalyzing a massive hype cycle around generative AI. Elon Musk immediately saw an opportunity to turn around his ailing fortunes. In July of 2023, Musk officially unveiled his own AI startup called xAI, which is a direct competitor to OpenAI. In March of 2025, Elon Musk announced that xAI, a company he owns and controls, acquired X, another company he owns and controls. At least on paper, this was a big win for X's shareholders. Prior to this merger, X's valuation was in the doldrums, but xAI has benefited from the frothy nature of AI valuations. In September, xAI's valuation reportedly reached $200 billion. In this video, we'll look at why Elon Musk merged X into his new company xAI, and what we can expect from the combined company going forward. When researching for videos like this one, I spend a lot of time reading PDFs. I recently started using an amazing new PDF editor called UPDF, which is also the sponsor of today's video. UPDF does everything you'd expect from a PDF editor, plus so much more. For example, I want to analyze this PDF report about the growth of data centers globally. UPDF has a built-in AI assistant that can analyze and summarize the contents of the PDF. And let's say you're trying to read a PDF that's in another language. UPDF can quickly translate it to English or whatever language you want. If you want to take your research to the next level, they have a new feature called Deep Research. Just type in whatever topic you're researching and it will instantly find every relevant paper and study. This is great for both academic and professional research. In addition to analyzing PDFs, it's also great for creating and editing PDFs. It allows you to edit a PDF pretty much like you'd edit a Word document. You can change the text, add new text boxes, add or delete images. You can convert PDF files to Word documents, Excel sheets, PowerPoints, and vice versa. It has so many features that we'd be here all day if we tried to list them all. UPDF supports all platforms including Windows, Mac, iOS, and Android across devices, with one account usable on 4 devices. It's so much more powerful than Adobe Acrobat and only 1/6 the cost. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's really no reason not to check them out by clicking the link in the description below. And now back to the video. Musk completed his $44 billion acquisition of Twitter in October of 2022. At the time, Musk was the richest man in the world, with a net worth of approximately $200 billion. But the vast majority of his wealth was tied up in his Tesla and SpaceX shares, neither of which he wanted to sell. He wanted to sell the fewest number of Tesla shares as possible to close the acquisition, so he structured the deal as follows. Musk put up $24 billion of his own cash. Some of that he got by selling Tesla shares, some of it he got by taking out a margin loan on his Tesla shares. $7 billion came from various co-investors. These co-investors included a number of billionaires and venture capital funds. One of the co-investors was the mutual fund giant Fidelity Investments. The remaining $13 billion came from loans secured by Twitter itself. These loans incur interest expense of approximately $1.5 billion per year. So there were 2 layers of debt in the acquisition. There were margin loans Elon Musk personally took out against his Tesla stock, plus the $13 billion of debt that was put directly on Twitter's balance sheet. Immediately following the acquisition, Musk greatly relaxed content moderation on the platform. This resulted in a massive increase in spam and offensive content. Many advertisers greatly scaled back or even ceased advertising on the platform altogether. Musk tried to offset some of this lost revenue by charging users $8 per month if they want to get a blue checkmark next to their profile name. In 2021, Twitter generated $5.1 billion of revenue. In the first half of 2022, it generated $2.4 billion. These are the last official numbers we have. Following the acquisition, X is no longer a publicly traded company and is thus not required to publish its financial statements. However, Bloomberg has claimed to have seen internal documents which showed the company generated $3 billion of revenue in 2023. In 2024, revenue fell again to $2.6 billion, about half of its 2021 level. We don't have reliable data about X's profitability. In an effort to cut costs, Musk laid off 80% of Twitter employees. These layoffs resulted in a massive decrease to the company's operating costs. Despite this, the company is almost certainly still losing money. Remember that X incurs $1.5 billion of annual interest expense. That alone eats up the majority of the revenue. Remember that Fidelity Investments is one of the co-investors in the deal. They purchased approximately $20 million worth of X stock in one of their mutual funds. Fidelity is required to periodically report the value of its holdings. Now that X is a private company, it no longer has a liquid secondary market. Thus, Fidelity must estimate the value of the shares based on the company's financial performance and other data. When the deal first closed in October 2022, they marked the value of the investment at cost. The acquisition price was $44 billion, but you have to subtract that $13 billion of debt, so the market cap was $31 billion. By the end of 2024, Fidelity had marked down the investment by 70%. At that time, they believed the company was only worth $9.5 billion. In July of 2023, Musk officially announced the formation of xAI. The company's goal is to understand reality. An X user responded to Musk's tweet asking if he can work at both companies, presumably referring to X and xAI. Elon Musk responded by saying they are the same company. While both X and xAI were majority owned and controlled by Elon Musk, they were separate legal entities. They were emphatically not the same company at that time. Musk would eventually go on to merge the two companies. The fact that he was referring to them as the same company this early indicates that a merger was probably his plan from the beginning. In November of 2023, almost exactly 1 year after the launch of ChatGPT, xAI launched its own flagship product, an AI chatbot called Grok. Grok is extremely similar to ChatGPT in its functionality. They have a website and an app. Even the user interface is almost identical to ChatGPT. From the beginning, Grok was deeply integrated into Twitter, now X. If you go on the X app, you'll see a Grok tab where you can start talking to it. If you're viewing a tweet, you can also ask Grok to analyze its contents, giving you additional context and fact-checking. Grok has its own Twitter account. If you post a tweet or a reply and ask Grok to chime in, it will reply to you giving its own commentary. The Grok Twitter account is extremely active. To date, it has posted 67 million replies. At first, Grok was only available to premium Twitter subscribers, people who pay $8 a month for the blue checkmark. It has since been expanded so free Twitter users can also use it. Despite the close integration with X, xAI was a separate legal entity. It was originally founded by Elon Musk, so in the beginning, Musk owned all of the shares. The company also started raising money from venture capital firms including Andreessen Horowitz and Sequoia Capital. Training and operating an AI chatbot is a computationally intensive endeavor. At first, xAI reportedly used X's existing data centers, but they quickly ran out of capacity. While both X and xAI are controlled by Elon Musk, they are separate legal entities, each with their own shareholders. It's not really clear how this related party transaction was paid for. In early 2024, xAI began construction on a new massive data center in Tennessee, which they call Colossus. It began limited operations in the summer of 2024, and the company still has plans to expand it. The Colossus data center is filled up with billions of dollars worth of NVIDIA's GPUs. With the construction of Colossus, we can already start to see some corporate governance concerns that have arisen by Musk controlling multiple different companies. For the past few years, NVIDIA GPUs have been in short supply. If you place an order for new GPUs, you'll be put on a long waiting list. Prior to the formation of xAI, both X and Tesla had placed orders for billions of dollars worth of NVIDIA GPUs, which they intended to use for their own purposes. Musk diverted these GPUs to xAI to get Colossus up and running faster. Musk is able to benefit one of his companies at the expense of his other companies with seeming impunity. Musk only owns 15% of Tesla's outstanding shares. We don't know exactly what the ownership percentage of xAI is, but it's probably a lot higher. This gives him an incentive to siphon valuable resources from Tesla to xAI. Similar to ChatGPT, Grok follows a freemium business model. It's free for anyone to use Grok, but the free version includes restrictive usage limitations. They have two paid tiers, Super Grok and Super Grok Heavy. These premium versions give you much higher usage limits and early access to new features. Musk has tried to differentiate Grok from ChatGPT in a few important ways. Musk has long been a free speech absolutist. He has criticized ChatGPT for giving what he calls politically correct responses instead of trying to find the truth. He promised that Grok would not be politically correct. In the absence of safeguards, Grok's Twitter account went crazy, making offensive and bizarre statements. For example, in the summer of 2025, Grok repeatedly referred to itself as Mecha Hitler. Grok also launched a feature called an AI companion. It's an anime girl you can talk to with speech recognition. It's intended to be some type of virtual friend or girlfriend. xAI generates revenue primarily through premium subscriptions, and they also sell access to their API. To date, revenue has been pretty minuscule. According to Bloomberg, the company is expected to generate approximately $500 million of revenue in 2025. This is not nearly enough to cover the massive costs associated with building and operating the Colossus data center. xAI is reportedly burning $1 billion per month. The current AI investment boom has made it very easy for xAI to cover its losses. To date, the company has raised approximately $34 billion of equity in debt. Their latest funding round happened in October of 2025. They raised $20 billion, of which $7.5 billion was equity and $12.5 billion was debt. The debt is collateralized by the GPUs at their Colossus data center. NVIDIA contributed $2 billion to the equity portion. This is yet another one of NVIDIA's round-trip investments, as most of the money will go towards buying NVIDIA GPUs. This latest round valued xAI at an eye-popping $200 billion. Remember that this is a company with $500 million of annual revenue and is burning approximately $12 billion per year. In March of 2025, Elon Musk announced that xAI and X will combine in an all-stock merger. The merger valued xAI at $80 billion and X at $33 billion. xAI's existing shareholders will own 71% of the combined entity, while X shareholders will own 29%. The combined entity will also assume X's $12.5 billion of net debt. Remember that Fidelity has to mark the value of its X shares every quarter. Previously, they made an estimate based on the company's financial performance. When it merged with xAI, they marked it up to the implied valuation, which was slightly higher than their original purchase price back in October of 2022. This was not due to any improvement in X's financial results, just a paper gain based on an all-stock merger. The valuation increased even further in the October 2025 funding round, which valued the combined entity at $200 billion. On paper, Fidelity and all of the other co-investors are sitting on a massive gain. But is such a high valuation reasonable? Will Grok ever become profitable, let alone profitable enough to justify a $200 billion market cap? There are a number of large companies developing large language models, most notably OpenAI, Anthropic, and now xAI. All of these companies are losing huge amounts of money. There's not very much that differentiates them from each other. ChatGPT is pretty similar to Claude, which is pretty similar to Grok. The competition between these AI chatbots puts a lid on prices and makes it difficult to see any path to profitability. To justify the massive data center expenses, you need your AI models to eventually become significantly better than the competition. That's the only way you'll ever be able to charge premium prices. In October of 2024, Elon Musk appeared on the Lex Fridman podcast. He explained that access to Tesla's data gives xAI a competitive advantage.
I think with Tesla and the real-time video coming from the several million cars, ultimately tens of millions of cars, with Optimus, there might be hundreds of millions of Optimus robots, maybe billions, learning a tremendous amount from the real world. That's the biggest source of data. I think ultimately is sort of Optimus probably. Optimus is going to be the biggest source of data.
The Optimus humanoid robot is basically a hoax. At various times, Tesla has published highly choreographed videos of them appearing to do basic tasks. These are almost always either staged or quietly controlled by human operators. The few times we've seen it in action for real have been extremely underwhelming. It struggles to even lead you to the kitchen at Tesla's headquarters building. There are never going to be hundreds of millions of Optimus robots in the real world collecting data. But let's just for a second assume that Optimus is a huge success. Their cameras and other sensors collect a bunch of data that is useful for developing generative AI models. In fact, this data is so valuable that it could give xAI a massive advantage over all other AI companies. The Optimus data belongs to Tesla. Tesla does not own any stake in xAI, and it would not benefit in any way if xAI becomes successful. If this hypothetical Optimus data is really so valuable as Musk claims, Tesla should run a competitive auction process. They could sell it to OpenAI or Anthropic or even xAI, whoever is willing to pay the most. Or maybe Tesla could use it to develop its own generative AI models in-house. It sounds like Musk intends to siphon the data to xAI and probably not even pay anything for it. After all, he didn't pay anything to Tesla when he diverted their NVIDIA GPU reservations. This is probably all a moot point because I doubt Tesla has or will ever have any data that is useful for the development of large language models. But it goes to show how greedy Musk is. If he really believed Tesla's data is so synergistic for AI chatbots, he should have had Tesla develop Grok internally. But he only owns 15% of Tesla, so he instead makes a new AI company which he owns a much larger percentage of. He'll then steal Tesla's data and siphon it to xAI. This way, Tesla's public shareholders will receive no benefit. Alright guys, that wraps it up for this video. What do you think about xAI? Let us know in the comments section below. As always, thank you so much for watching and we'll see you in the next one. Wall Street Millennial, signing out.